Hello and welcome to The Top Story, a podcast with the headlines of the day from our correspondents around the world. I'm Xizhi. Coming up in this edition, Austria's far-right Freedom Party has claimed victory in the national elections. The latest Israeli airstrikes in Lebanon have killed at least 105 people, including 2 Hezbollah leaders. And China has marked Martyrs' Day on the eve of the 75th anniversary of the founding of the People's Republic of China. We begin in Europe. Austrian Chancellor Karl Nehammer has conceded that his People's Party failed to close the gap on the far-right Freedom Party in the parliamentary election. He pledged that his party would stand by its promises, but did not elaborate on whether that would include his assertion that it would not join a government with the Freedom Party. The FPO had served in coalition governments before, but is projected to secure its first victory in the national vote since World War II. FPO leader Herbert Kickl has celebrated and says they are ready to form a government. Johannes Pleshberger has more from Vienna.
Danke, Österreich. Thank you, Austria. The Freedom Party is celebrating its victory here at Vienna's Stiegl Ambulance after having convinced most voters with its anti-immigration and EU-skeptical stance. Almost doubling its votes from the last election and arriving at just under 30%, the Freedom Party hopes to put its leader, Herbert Kickl, into the Chancellor's seat. However, the only other party open to a coalition previously said it would not accept Herbert Kickl as leader.
It is important to recognize that the voters made their voice heard today and that they want change. And this is something the People's Party must consider.
Long faces among supporters of Austria's currently governing People's Party after ending up in second place with just over 26% of the vote. Also disappointment among the Social Democrats, which are set to see their worst results on record. The Freedom Party victory makes Austria the latest EU country to register surging far-right support after gains in countries including the Netherlands, France and Germany.
That was Johannes Pleshberger on a possible shift in the political landscape in Austria. In the Middle East, Lebanese health authorities say at least 105 people died and 359 others were injured in Israeli airstrikes on Sunday. Hezbollah has also confirmed that its senior leader Ali Karaki and top leader Said Hassan Nasrallah were killed in the strikes over the weekend. Evangelist Sipsis has details.
Hassan Nasrallah was killed in this attack. It was announced by Hezbollah, but we didn't know how he died or when his funeral is going to happen. We heard that the paramedics that recovered his body, they said that it was intact. There were visible injuries, but it was intact, meaning that he died from a shock wave that took place from that bombing that took place in the Hezbollah's headquarters in the Dahiyeh district of Beirut in the southern suburb, which is a stronghold for Hezbollah. That's what the paramedics have said. That's what's been circulating now on international media outlets, but also reported on the Lebanese news national agency. We do know also that other high members were killed, one on Saturday after the day after Nasrallah was attacked. Ali Karaki, which is a high commander actually in the Hezbollah organization, second in command after Nasrallah. He was responsible for the South Command operations taking place on the southern part of the border with northern Israel. But also Nabil Kaouk, which is a prominent council member of Hezbollah, was also killed on Saturday's attack. So we're talking about in a span of 2 days, 3 very strong, prominent figures were killed by the Israeli forces. And in the previous days, in the past 10 days, there are another 2 or 3 were attacked and killed in the area, which is Dahiyeh. There has been 5 to 6 attacks in the past 10 weeks targeted specific members of Hezbollah. Those, in a period of 10 days, there's a lot of people that were killed. And now the question is, who's going to be the next one that's going to lead the organization? Of course, the person who will lead is going to have a lot of pressure coming at their spots from the United States and Israel. There's over 100,000 people that have been displaced from the southern part of Lebanon, and a number of people also left their houses in the Dahiyeh district. They find refuge in parks, in the waterfront, some of them in schools, in gymnasiums, anywhere they can. But the number of people, they're just so big that the Lebanese government cannot help them, cannot accommodate them. We have to remind ourselves here that the Lebanese government has been receiving for many years now a lot of international aid. So that has this continuation, actually, of humanitarian crisis that is taking place with people leaving their houses. It's going to need more and more from the international community, and the Lebanese government doesn't have the power to be able to convince them to give as much. We understand here that it's not only the strikes that are taking place, it's not only the bombing that is happening in different parts across Lebanon.
That was Evangelos Sipsis reporting. Turning to North America, Hurricane Helene has killed at least 90 people in the southeastern United States. The storm has knocked out power for millions, destroyed roads and bridges, and caused dramatic flooding from Florida to Virginia. Popin Putin has more.
The rain came on Friday, and by Saturday, floodwaters had reached record levels, the worst in a century. Homes are inundated, submerged roadways are closed. Downed trees have left thousands in the state without power.
Many of the roads are closed, trees are down, we're clearing those as quick as we can. And a lot of the critical infrastructure that we become used to every day in normal times is now gone, and we have to work around it.
President Joe Biden approved a disaster declaration Saturday night, making federal funding available for recovery assistance. In a statement, Biden said, as we turn toward recovery efforts, we will make certain that no resource is spared to ensure that families, businesses, schools, hospitals, and entire communities can quickly begin their road to rebuilding. Helene's path of destruction began in Florida Thursday before moving through Georgia, South Carolina, and into North Carolina and Virginia. Across the southeast region, millions remain without power, and thousands have been displaced from their homes, reliant on government and charity groups for shelter and basic supplies. The remnants of the hurricane are expected to bring heavy rains to parts of the U.S. Midwest and Northeast regions through the middle of this week.
That was Popin Putin reporting on Hurricane Helene. In New York, the United Nations has concluded its week-long annual high-level meetings to address global challenges, including the rapidly evolving digital landscape. UNESCO official Tawfiq Jelassi discussed the UN's Global Digital Compact and UNESCO's strategies to advance digital inclusion and literacy. Xia Chen spoke to him.
How does UNESCO view the impact of the Global Digital Compact on digital governance, particularly in relation to AI regulation and the proposed Global AI Fund?
We believe that the adoption of the Global Digital Compact is a significant towards ensuring that AI benefits humanity at large, while helping to reduce socioeconomic inequalities within and among countries. This is obviously what was stated in the Sustainable Development Goal number 10, which calls for reducing inequality. So the compact itself calls the international community to build capacities, especially in developing countries, to access, develop, use, and govern AI systems and direct them towards the pursuit of sustainable development. This was clearly stated in paragraph 55 of the document. While artificial intelligence holds the potential to foster economic growth, the evidence shows that these gains are expected to be concentrated in few leading economies. This is why our work is so far from being finished. The hardest part, actually, the implementation is still to be rolled out. In 2024, this year, UNESCO collaborated with the African Union to develop a continental AI strategy that is comprehensive and that is needs-driven. This is a very important project for us because it has a medium to long-term benefit to advance capacity building, which is so much needed. Because in Africa, we talk often about digital infrastructure, but we need also to ensure the skills infrastructure, the capacities, the competencies, especially of public servants, so governments can enhance their services to citizens. So in a world, capacity building is so critical to enable developing countries to actively engage in the global governance debate.
That was Xia Chen speaking with the Assistant Director General for Communications and Information of UNESCO. In Asia, China has marked Martyrs' Day on the eve of the 75th anniversary of the founding of the People's Republic of China. President Xi Jinping led party and state leaders and representatives from all walks of life to pay tribute to the fallen heroes at a ceremony in Beijing. They presented flower baskets to the monument to the people's heroes at Tiananmen Square. Zhao Yunfei has more.
A solemn event has taken place at the heart of Beijing to mark China's Martyrs' Day on Monday. People from all walks of life gathered at Tiananmen Square to pay tribute to those who gave their lives for the independence and prosperity of the nation. President Xi Jinping laid flowers at the monument to the people's heroes. Historical estimates put the number of Chinese martyrs killed since the First Opium War in 1840 at 20 million, many of them nameless. China has a long tradition of commemorating those who have served the country. In 2014, China's top legislature designated September 30th as National Martyrs' Day. This tradition has lasted for a decade as the ceremony holds profound historical and practical significance that the country remembers history in the highest form. China's Martyrs' Day comes one day ahead of the National Day on October 1st. This year marks the 75th anniversary of the founding of the People's Republic of China. The country has taken this opportunity to honor those who have made significant contributions to the nation. So today is the day for the Chinese people to cultivate patriotism, collectivism, and socialist moralities.
That was Zhao Yunfei reporting. Now recapping the headlines, Austria's far-right Freedom Party has claimed victory in the national elections. The latest Israeli airstrikes in Lebanon have killed at least 105 people, including 2 Hezbollah leaders. And China has marked Martyrs' Day on the eve of the 75th anniversary of the founding of the People's Republic. And that's it for this edition of The Top Story, a podcast that brings you world headlines every weekday. For more news in politics, business, sports and culture, you can subscribe to the Beijing Hour, a one-hour podcast news magazine program. We welcome and appreciate all ratings and reviews. I'm Qi Zhi. Thank you for listening.